Shalom, shalom. First off, I would like to give all praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Rakah Kadash, and also to my elders of GMS who taught me this truth. Shalom to them, and shalom to you brothers that scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to you, preaching and prophesying, risking your lives to do so. Shalom to you, brothers. Yes, it's your brother Ahmad Allah, and we're going to get into this whole thing with this whole. It says, as millions of Americans prepare to lose SNAP benefits, some states are moving to bridge the gap. So in like 2 days, these benefits, these SNAP benefits, WIC and all that stuff, whatever, food stamps and all that, that's going to be done away with because the Senate, they can't come to an agreement, and this whole government shutdown is affecting people getting paid, federal workers and things like that, people that work for the government, and these benefits that, I would say, well, these people in Babylon, especially a lot of Edomites, they depended on. Now that's in fear of being taken, like just not, given out. Those benefits are not going to be on those accounts. And a lot of people are going to struggle, and a lot of people are going to crash out. Especially, we've been seeing on the internet, a lot of Jake women, talking about crashing out and stealing from here, stealing from there, going to these supermarkets, ramshacking shit, taking shit, whatever. That's all. That's all part of the plan, though. But they don't understand that. They want you to crash out so they can start this martial law and everything like that, whatever, and I guess kind of tame the civil unrest, because there's going to be civil unrest, and shit is going to escalate, and there's going to be a lot of death out here. This is what we're headed to. Jacob's trouble. This is not going to get. This is not. Hey, you know what? We praising the Lord. That's why I said. I'm happy that this shit is happening. I'm ecstatic right now. Prophecy is being fulfilled. Things are happening. Things are moving. You know what I mean? It's not like we just, waiting for shit to happen. And, we're not just like, damn, there's no prophecies happening, or we just kind of still here, still doing the works, but nothing's really happening. No, shit is happening. Like, we're seeing it firsthand. People are in distress. People are worried. And there's a lot of these women that's worried. They're in distress. They sit up there trying to figure out how they're going to feed their children, how they're going to feed themselves. People are crashing out. People are just, and then these people are so fucking stupid. You putting this shit on the internet, everybody can see this shit. So now Walmart and these supermarkets, whatever, come Saturday, whatever, November 1st, they're going to start making preparations. They're going to beef up the police and probably have the National Guard, and Trump did say something about having the National Guard in every state. What do you think that's for? And these fucking women, they don't get it, man. They don't fucking get it. And then you planning all this shit, waging, you're like, well, I was gonna say the word. They're trying to revolution. I can't say the word revolution. Like start up a revolution, basically. And you're gonna get up with a bunch of fat ass quiches and shit, with a bunch of kids and shit, to overthrow the government and take what you want. They're gonna, you're gonna get mowed the fuck down by these troops out here. You're gonna get mowed down. There's going to be mass casualties out here. And that's what our people don't understand, especially our women. It's going to be fucking crazy out here. Well, watch when this shit goes down. And in just a couple of days, I give a couple of weeks after November 1st, see what really happens. Because that's when it's going to turn up. Motherfuckers can't go out eating without, they can't go a day or two without eating. Like, let me just read this article, because I can keep going on and on about these women and shit. But It says Washington. I'm gonna just read a little bit of the article, whatever, and I'm just kind of touch on the points. I ain't gonna read too much of it. I ain't gonna read all of it, because we already know what's going on. Washington, it says, with just days to go before millions of low-income Americans are expected to see a pause in federal food assistance, state governments are trying to find ways to fill the void. A supplemental nutrition assistance program, more commonly known as SNAP or food stamps, is a key benefits program that serves more than 40 million people across the country. Now that the shutdown is threatening to suspend benefits, raising concerns over where millions of people who rely on the program will turn to for food. The Agriculture Department said last week in a message on its website that payments would not be issued on November 1st. The first time in recent history that the program has been suspended because of a shutdown. The department also said in a memo that contingency funds are not legally available to cover regular benefits, a move that several Democrats governors have urged the administration to pursue. Reach for comment on the future of SNAP. A Department of Agriculture spokesman said, "We are approaching an inflection point for Senate Democrats." Read a little bit more of this. Continue to hold out for health care for illegals, or reopen the government so mothers, babies, and most vulnerable among us can receive timely WIC and SNAP allotments. Okay, now I'm going to address this. It says continue to hold out for healthcare for illegals. So now they're using this whole illegal shit, whatever, to say, hey, well, I believe they wanted healthcare. The Democrats wanted healthcare for the illegals, whatever. And then the conservatives said no. They denied the bill, whatever. And this is what's prolonging this whole government shutdown. So now people are not getting paid. People that work in the federal government, I believe, only the national troops and the ICE agents and like Homeland Security, those agencies are getting paid, but everybody else got screwed. And I believe. So those three agencies are definitely getting paid, and now, these benefits are being affected now. Now they're threatening your benefits, and there's a lot of people, and I've mentioned this before. I can't. That it's a lot of sickly people with health problems and mental disabilities that get food stamps, and they're gonna be fucked. They're gonna be asked out. That older woman, that handicapped person, or whatever like that. And if this lasts a long time, then you can start hearing about a lot of death, of just starvation. This shit getting crazy. Let me read the rest of this. The spokesperson continued referring to a supplemental nutrition program for women, infants, and children. That's it on that. We already know the whole point and everything right now, but so now they're using the Northern Tribe and everything as far as trying to give them health benefits, going back and forth. So basically, they're using them as a ploy to keep the government shut down. So now people are just angry and just frustrated and just saying, "Hey, listen, what the fuck, like." Come to an agreement, whatever. Bring the government back open again, so we can get our benefits and our, things that we need. But they don't. Like I said, the fucking government never gave a shit about us. They never cared. You know what I mean? And that's what our people forget to realize. Our people don't consider the ways of this devil, Esau, either. You know what I mean? They don't see that this devil is a devil. He don't give a shit about you. He never did. He just used you to destroy us and destroy the nation. Kick the man out of the house so you get these benefits, whatever. Be a single mom. Put this nigga on child support. This is what they did. They used our women against us. This is why there's every goddamn hood in America. Broken home, a fucking single mother home. Just dysfunction, just degenerate shit, in so in these Jake communities. You know that you northern and southern tribes. You know? But you know, hey, you know what? You women, you reap what you sow. You reap what you sow. You know you got beguiled by this goddamn devil, and then now you about to reap what you sow. And don't get me wrong, a lot of Edomites are on EBT and welfare and WIC and all that shit. They're the number one, you know, participants of this shit. They've been getting this shit for years. But a lot of you women, Jake women, are crashing out though. You the one doing TikTok videos and YouTube videos, whatever, about the shit that's going on. This is hurting you more than it's probably hurting anyone else of any other nation that's on this shit. You know? Why? Because you don't have a backing. You don't have a man. You don't have a man to look forward to back on. You know what I mean? To fall upon. Because you didn't want one. You didn't want a man that was worth a fuck. You were just fucking around, dealing with whatever. It didn't even matter that the man, you know, don't have a job or anything, whatever, going for himself. You just wanted to sleep with him because you could, and have all these fucking kids and shit, and then use the kids to, you know, you weaponize the kids against the man, put them on child support, doing all this other shit, and continue to be wicked. And then, and like I said, these men ain't gonna, they ain't just gonna just accept you back like that. Like a lot of these women are gonna get dissed, man. That's when Isaiah 4:1 is gonna come into fruition. You know, 7 women shall take on to 1 man. You lived at ease when you was here. You was at ease. No, I didn't bring that scripture out. Let me close up. So you women KJ Isaiah, okay. Isaiah 32:9. Rise up, ye women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. That's right. You were living on Easy Street. You had it all. You had your benefits and shit. You had your little child support money. You know, everything that the government gave you, you was cool with. And you did not value no man. You didn't want no man. You didn't want a father in the house. You didn't want that family unit. You didn't want a structural, upbringing and just, order and everything in the household. You didn't want that. You wanted dysfunction. You wanted disorder. That's what you chose, whether you knew it or not. You know, and this is where we're at right now. Now you're going to have to feel that burn. You're going to have to feel that pain by suffering. And then you're going to try to rise up against Esau and shit, whatever, you know what I mean? And with his, trying to, I'm going to go invade the ramshack those supermarkets and Walmarts and everything like that. You got another thing coming. Because they're going to have those troops there, trust me. You're going to have to worry about militia groups, all that shit. So, this is it. So, we're gonna see though. But with that, Lord willing, just be edifying until next time. Shalom.